Yeah, I was out with my family, my wife, my daughter, and we were having on our way to have a meal for lunch. I got a call from my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law called my wife and told her that there was a shooting at Tops. Then I got a call from my sister who was in the Tops that escaped the shooting. So that's just ruined my whole Saturday after hearing about what happened. So not only did I hear about it and dealing with the terror of it, but also had a family member that was there that escaped.
So how's your sister now to start with? That is very important for us.
Yeah, she's very traumatized right now. She had to jump over the deli to get in, to get out. I'm sorry. And many people were following behind her. She almost got trampled as people were rushing to get out of there. There was a lot of people in there. If it wasn't for the hero, the security guard, Aaron Salter, to engage this terrorist, if it wasn't for him, he probably would have came around the corner and killed all those people.
Can you imagine? There's somebody that left the home and said, "Let me go and buy something in my city where I live." No, she's at home now. No, I understand that she's traumatized because who would not be traumatized? These are things that don't go away just immediately.
It's been tough for all of us just thinking like we could have lost our sister. And here's the other thing. My nephew dropped her off at the store. So he could have been waiting outside for her. Thank God he wasn't, because if he was waiting outside, he would have got shot as well. So I could have lost a nephew and a sister. So it was really, we really took it hard. She's seeking counseling right now, dealing with a lot of trauma from hearing the shots, from everyone rushing towards her almost being trampled, and then walking outside, seeing all those bodies on the ground, that could have been her. So the family, we just came around her, just try to keep her comforted and let her know that she was blessed to get out of there. She was blessed. So thank the Most High.
You know this area very well. Is this something, a place that you frequent, that you understand very well how to move around there?
Yep. Yep. I do conferences there very often. There's a library across the street where I do conferences right across the street from the Tops Market, right there off Jefferson Avenue. And then now this is basically a food desert. Um, without the Jefferson Tops Market, there is no other supermarkets in that area. So this community really relies on that supermarket. And usually Saturdays is very busy. This is probably why this guy, this terrorist, this racist, this white supremacist chose this time to go there, because he knew that families would be shopping and they would be helpless, pretty much. A coward. This is a coward. And I want to throw that out there. Someone who just plans to go after old women and possibly even children. He even planned an elementary school, from what the reports are saying. This is the thinking of this man. Obviously, it was a Saturday, so he couldn't get a school, but he was originally, that was a part of his plans.
The point of view of a historian, is there anything that we can that does this particular event remind us? Because somebody might be thinking, okay, an incident happened, but this is not just an incident. This guy that be planning it. But even beyond that, is this does it remind us of any other event similar that we can think of, maybe within the area in New York or in the United States?
I mean, we know this happened in Charleston as well, with a man walking into a church, mass killing them, a bunch of black people as well. We know these things have been frequently happening with mass shootings, but this is not the first time that it was a hate crime against black people. So, but in Buffalo, this is the first time this has ever happened. So this is a major event in New York State right now that's happening. But if you want to take me back historically, I mean, I only can equate it to fear, my brother. I mean, this started back in France, where they started this thing called the great replacement theory. And now it's made way to the United States. It's been around for a while. It's just now these actions are happening sporadically. And basically what this great replacement theory is that some white supremacists believe that the Democratic Party of America is using their ability to bring more immigrants to the United States with the idea of replacing white people. with Jews and non-white people. So this is the things that this theory promotes. You have a lot of news stations, which I won't mention, that are also promoting it as well. And as we see, it's leading to the terrorism of this country. So it's something that we have to deal with. It's another thing that we have to deal with is internet censoring. It's something that needs to be dealt with as well, because he manifested this months before.
Now, another thing I'm trying to understand, that I'm trying to help our audience understand, is the description of this guy in the media. I don't know if you make any sense of it, how it appears to you, because what the Boko Haram in Nigeria are doing, what the Al-Shabaab are doing, is not different from what this individual did, no? But in those cases, they will be described as terrorists, no? Right. But in this case now, I don't see him be described as a terrorist. So I don't know if he make any, I don't know how you look at that, to just look at your opinion on that.
That's very clear, my brother. It's racism. Racism. The reason why he's not labeled a terrorist is because he's not black, or he's not Arab, or he's not Asian. This is the reason why he hasn't been labeled a terrorist. But we have been saying it. A lot of us have been standing up in the media and saying that this was a terrorist act against black people. So I want to give a shout out to a lot of the black people who have stood up in front of these cameras and said this was a terrorist act. But you're right. It hasn't been treated or even talked about as a terrorist act. In fact, his charges are only a murder one. So when you talk about the things that's happening in Nigeria, yes, these things happen. But again, when they're labeled, the way they're labeled shows that it's a terrorist who's doing it, someone who's against the system. This is about politics. This just wasn't about black and white. This was about Democratic and Republican as well. Some Republicans strongly feel that Democrats are trying to win elections by bringing in immigrants and non-white people. So this is the theory of the white replacement theory that's coming in based on a lot of Republican belief, not all, but a lot. So it's bigger than black and white in this situation, but either way you slice it, it's a terrorist act.
I'm trying to understand here if the media, those who are controlling the mainstream media, have a reason for not describing him as a terrorist, even though to the people that he has terrorized, they don't see him other than being a terrorist. But for the media not describing him as a terrorist, is there any reason for that? I mean, does it have any legal implication, as it were?
Well, you have to think about when people describe terrorists, they're usually describing someone from the outside, right? They're describing someone who's not from that region or not from that country. So since he is from the United States of America, born and raised here, they may or may not, they may decide not to call him a terrorist, because when they're talking about terrorists, they're saying someone is coming against the United States from outside the United States. If that makes sense? But they don't want to call him that for the sake of letting other nations know that they have terrorists within their own citizens. And that's what they don't want it to come out like. So they're afraid for that to look like America is fighting terrorists within America, which is the truth.